Okay, let's dive in. We've got this fascinating stack of source material here, all exploring a pretty unique connection.
Right. It's about ancient wisdom, specifically Vedic concepts, and how they might, intersect with modern technology.
And our goal today is really to unpack these sources, see what insights they offer.
Exactly. Pull out the key ideas, the connections they're making, especially concerning this idea of Rahu returning to the Śatabhishāj nakshatra.
According to this material, that specific event is a big deal, potentially signaling major technological shifts.
That's the perspective presented, yeah.
Oh.
It's a unique lens on innovation and disruption linking these cycles.
So we're going to explore that, look at the core ideas, the history they point to, and what they predict.
This would be interesting.
Okay, so first things first, foundational concepts. What do these sources say about Rahu?
Well, it's maybe not the image most people have. The sources don't paint Rahu as just negative or evil.
No. How then?
They use the term outsider genius. Someone fiercely intelligent, definitely rebellious, a visionary even.
Huh. Outsider genius.
Yeah, and strongly linked to innovation, disruption, and also illusion, interestingly enough.
Okay, disruption and illusion from the outsider. Got it. And Śatabhishāj.
That translates as the 100 physicians. But in these texts, it's tied to things like aeronautics, atmospheric exploration.
Big picture stuff.
Yeah.
Frontiers.
Exactly. Pushing boundaries, maybe what you'd call Western civilization's bold frontiers. And the crucial part,
What's that?
the sources state it's Rahu's home star, his own nakshatra, his own turf.
Ah, okay. So Rahu's coming home. Why is that the big deal, according to the sources?
Well, the idea presented is that this return is incredibly potent. It's like Rahu operating at maximum strength in his own element.
So it amplifies his nature.
That's what they say. It's like a cosmic ignition. It supposedly lights a fire under those qualities. Innovation, disruption within the areas Śatabhishāj governs.
Right, so Rahu, the outsider genius, back in his home domain, Śatabhishāj, the domain of frontiers. Now, the sources get really specific about the astrology at the exact moment this happened.
They do. They reference the Kundali, the chart for that specific time Rahu entered Śatabhishāj.
And they pinpoint coordinates.
Very precisely.
Hmm.
Rahu at 19 degrees, 59 minutes, 60 seconds of Aquarius. Deep in Śatabhishāj, in what's called Pada 4.
Wow, that's specific. Seems important to their argument. And Jupiter's role. They mentioned Jupiter, too.
Yes, Jupiter gets special attention. It was retrograde in Cancer, which the sources highlight as its own sign, giving it
Extra power.
supreme strength and auspicious dignity are the terms used. Plus, this Adichari motion indicating a sort of rapid phase.
Okay, so Rahu's powerfully placed at home, and Jupiter's also super strong and supportive. What's the conclusion the sources draw from that particular setup?
They state it very clearly. With this configuration, Rahu is poised for an immense technological shift.
Ah.
This specific alignment, boosted by Jupiter, is presented as the cosmic stage being set for major disruption and innovation.
Okay, to really get this outsider genius vibe the sources give Rahu, they take us back to his origin story, the Samudra Manthan.
Right, the churning of the ocean. It's fundamental to how they frame Rahu. You have the divas, the gods, and the asuras, sort of anti-gods, working together initially.
For the nectar of immortality, Amata.
Exactly. But then Vyo, in the guise of Mohini, this captivating illusion,
Tricks them.
well, ensures only the divas get the nectar. That was the plan.
But one Ashura wasn't fooled.
That's the key. Swarbhānu. The sources describe him as shark cunning. He sees through the illusion.
And tries to get some nectar anyway.
He does. He disguises himself as a diva, slips in line, and actually manages to drink.
Wow. So he got it.
He did. But just as he drank, the sun and moon spotted him. Cosmic whistleblowers, you could say.
Uh-oh.
Vyo reacted instantly, used his Sudarsana chakra, this divine disc, and beheaded Swarbhānu.
But the nectar.
It had already reached his throat. That's the crucial detail the sources stress.
Mm-hmm.
So he became immortal, even though he was decapitated.
And the head became Rahu.
The head became Rahu, yes.
Amrita.
So the takeaway from this story, for the sources, isn't just about immortality. No, it's about how he achieved it. Not through force, but through intelligence, insight, rebellion, audacity, deceiving the gods themselves.
It perfectly fits their outsider geniuses narrative.
Exactly. Visionary, disruptive, seeing what others miss. That's the essence they draw from the myth.
That story definitely adds depth. Now, circling back to Śatabhishāj, you said its presiding deity is Varu.
That's right. Varusa, god of cosmic order, the vast oceans. He governs Śatabhishāj.
And the sources make another connection here.
They do. They point out that in some key Vedic texts, Rahu is also named the chief of the Asuras.
Wait, the chief of the group Rahu belonged to?
Precisely. So, according to this material, Rahu isn't just returning to his own nakshatra.
He's returning to the domain ruled by his own cosmic chief.
You got it. The sources present this as incredibly significant. It's not just coming home. It's coming home under the command structure, so to speak.
And this does what?
They argue it massively amplifies Rahu's potential. It adds another layer of cosmic force pushing towards that deep, technological, even metaphysical change they associate with this alignment.
Okay, that layering makes the source's argument even more potent. And they don't just leave it at theory, right? They point to historical examples.
Yeah, they try to ground it. They look at past times. Rahu is in Śatabhishāj. The first period they highlight is 1988-89.
What happened then, according to them?
They link it directly to the birth of the World Wide Web, specifically citing Tim Berners-Lee's proposal at CERN in March '89, the foundational document.
Wow, okay. That's pretty foundational. Anything else from 88, 89?
They also mention the debut of Adobe Photoshop, revolutionizing digital imaging, photography.
Another massive shift.
Yeah, they even say something like, surely Rahu's hand in photography, connecting that illusion image aspect, they see it as a disruption in visual tech happening right then.
The web and Photoshop emerging together.
Okay.
What's the next historical window they examine?
That would be 2006 to 2008, another huge period of change.
What do they pinpoint there?
Three big things, basically. The rise of cloud computing, social media going mainstream, and the mobile revolution kicking off.
Okay, specifics. Cloud.
They point to Amazon S3 launching in March 2006. The start of scalable cloud storage as we know it.
Social media.
YouTube's explosion, and Google buying it in 2006. And Jack Dorsey's first tweet, also March 2006. The beginning of that whole microblogging wave.
Platforms that completely changed how we communicate. And mobile.
Two giant moments, according to the sources. Steve Jobs unveiling the iPhone, January 2007.
Which changed everything.
Right, ushered in the smartphone era. And then Google releasing Android in October 2007, setting up the other side of the mobile world.
Those are undeniably transformative periods.
Yeah.
So the sources present these as historical precedents, linking them to Rahu and Śatabhishāj.
Exactly. They frame these not just as innovations, but as fundamental shifts coinciding with that specific astrological transit.
Okay, so based on those historical examples and the current astrological setup they described earlier, what do the sources suggest might be happening this time around, now that Rahu is back in Śatabhishāj again?
Right. They basically say what we've seen recently, especially in AI, is just the trailer.
Just the trailer. So what's the main feature?
They predict a massive quantum leap in AI. Research skyrocketing, powerful AI tools becoming like normal, ubiquitous, even for everyday users, not just specialists.
Going beyond just tools, though, they mention operating systems.
Yes, that's a core prediction. OS itself changing fundamentally, infused with AI assistants, interfaces that predict what you need, systems that optimize themselves.
Truly smart operating systems.
That's the idea. Built on cloud AI, but also more powerful AI right on your device.
Okay, what about communications? They mention a specific aspect influencing that.
Correct. They link potential breakthroughs there to Rahu aspecting Gemini, the sign of communication.
So what kind of breakthroughs?
Things like satellites, maybe space-based internet becoming more real, next-gen networking, stuff that redefines being connected.
And how we experience all this tech, anything on immersive tech.
Yeah, they expect a big surge in accessibility for things like VR, AR, digital world.
Meaning?
More people drawn deeper into screens, into these virtual ecosystems. The sources use language that suggests it blurs the lines with real life.
A pretty profound shift if that happens. And finance. Money.
A metamorphosis is the word they use. Big changes driven by decentralized finance, blockchain innovations, leading to new ways of thinking about and using money, new platforms.
Okay, one last area. Government and defense. That sounds sensitive.
It does. The sources suggest,
Yeah.
and again, this is just reporting what they claim, that this period might see significant reveals or advancements.
In what areas?
National security, aerospace, maybe even projects previously kept under wraps, underground.
And they link this astrologically.
Yes, they mention aspects from Mars and the Sun influencing Rahu as being key drivers for this potential area of, well, surprising developments or disclosures. We're just relaying their interpretation here.
Understood. Those are definitely some bold predictions coming out of this source material. So if we boil it all down, what's the single biggest idea they're putting forward?
I think the core message is that Rahu returning to Śatabhishāj isn't just some minor astrological event in their
It's a
view.
major marker.
Yes, they present it as a significant cosmic signal that, based on their historical analysis and the current chart, points to periods of really intense, disruptive, visionary technological change.
So it's this perspective that links these big tech waves from the web to AI, potentially back to these celestial cycles.
Exactly. It offers a very different framework for thinking about why innovation happens when it does, suggesting maybe there's a deeper rhythm to it.
It's certainly a thought-provoking connection they draw, weaving together mythology like Rahu's origin, Varuta, with things like the iPhone launch.
Absolutely. And throughout this deep dive, we've really focused on laying out the information and the specific claims made within these sources.
Right, just exploring the perspective offered in this material.
It's a compelling narrative they build, connecting the heavens and, well, Silicon Valley, you could say.
So reflecting on all this, the source keeps describing Rahu as that outsider genius, operating through disruption and keen insight. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does that perspective suggest about innovation itself?
Does radical change always have to come from the fringes,
Mm.
challenging the status quo?
Yeah, is that inherent in the nature of major technological leaps? That's definitely something interesting to chew on as you think about everything we've covered from these sources today.